The most effective villain team-ups often remain undetected as opposed to notorious. I mean, not often. My name is AJ Spatola with Top 10 Nerd, and these are the top 10 villain teams you've never seen before. At number 10 is Gas Gang, a gang made up of my favorite state of matter. In 1963's Metal Men number 6, something wild happened. Dr. Will Magnus, the creator of the Metal Men, got zapped by cosmic rays during a space mission. This turned him into a robot, but with a twist. You see, he lost all of his feelings. He went all nope on saving another ship in trouble, and when the Metal Men didn't follow orders, Magnus went all villain mode on them. Now they locked him up in their base, giving him access to his robot making tools, so he creates the Gas Gang. Robots made of gases like oxygen, helium, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and chloroform. These gas-based baddies caused trouble until the Metal Men found a way to stop them. But here's a twist again, taking down the Gas Gang actually turned Magnus back into a human, somehow. At number 9 is the Assembly of Evil. During a big crossover called the Acts of Vengeance, a group of big shot bad guys like Dr. Doom, Magneto and Kingpin, and the Mandarin and the Red Skull all joined forces. But here's a twist. They were being tricked by Loki the entire time. Their job was to make chaos by getting lesser known villains to mess with heroes who had no clue about these bad guys. In one comic called Cloak and Dagger number 9, the Jester got a chance from Dr. Doom to build his own bad guy squad called the Assembly of Evil. Now the problem was nobody really took Jester seriously. He tried to recruit some heavy hitters like the Hulk's enemy the leader, but that didn't pan out too well. He did get some others like the X-Men villains Furnace, and even borrowed a Hulk robot from Dr. Doom. Now the wildest part is that Jester thought Cloak and Dagger were enemies of Spider-Man, so he asked them to join. They pretended to be in on it, but actually helped the Avengers when the Assembly attacked them, messing up the bad guys' plans. If you're enjoying this video so far, please support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to Top 10 Nerd, and ringing that notification bell. It helps us out and get the video seen by more people, and it's free, so I appreciate it. At number 8 is the Weathermen. Ooh. Intimidating. The Weathermen, making their debut in 1981's Avengers number 210, they came toe-to-toe with a government supercomputer that was stationed on a space station, originally used by the notorious Egghead. This supercomputer somehow gained a mind of its own, shifting from just forecasting weather to actually wanting to control it. To execute its devious plans, the computer brainwashes 5 meteorologists working at the station, morphing them into the Weathermen. Each of these meteorologists gets kitted out with heavy-duty armor and hovercraft, dispatched globally to stir up chaotic weather patterns as committed by the AI computer. Amidst this meteorological chaos, the Avengers swoop in to tackle the Weathermen head on. But it's the underrated hero Jocasta who takes a direct route to the space station. And she not only rejects a robot's proposal, because she's quite popular among the robot population, but also manages to erase the computer's newfound sentience. At number 7 is the Anti-Men of Repli-Tech. In 1983, the Justice League of America introduced the Anti-Men of Repli-Tech, a bunch of hybrids made by a struggling company called Repli-Tech. They were humans mixed with animals created by Dr. Lovecraft, chief scientist. The company's boss, Rex Rogan, thought that turning this team into animal-human combos was a smart idea. He became Maximus Rex, a lion-headed dude, and led these hybrids to steal stuff to save the company. But here's the kicker. He made them fight to their demise for entertainment like gladiators. Now, surprisingly, these anti-men were tough cookies. At number 6 is the Killer Elite. The Elite burst onto the scene in Justice League America number 105 to 106 during the Underworld Unleashed storyline. Basically, a demon named Neron goes around offering people power boosts in exchange for their souls. The idea was to level up these old school villains, but it didn't really work out because their power-ups weren't very powerful. Now, Killer Elite was a team of renowned assassins. We got Deadshot, Merlin, Bolt, Chiller, and Deadline. Now here's the kicker. They didn't seem to get any power upgrades whatsoever. Instead, they just sold their souls for no apparent reason. Each of the characters was pretty cool individually, but putting them in a team together just kind of felt too much. Plus, Deadshot works better as an anti-hero instead of a straight-up villain. Long story short, the team was messy, and it felt like a waste of good characters, and it didn't really stick around for long. At number 5 is Crime Wave. In 1972, comic book writer Steve Englehart came up with a unique supervillain team called Crime Wave to battle Captain America. This team didn't have a flashy name or a grand plan. Instead, it was a mix of different villains called the Porcupine, Plant Man, Eel, and the Scarecrow. They were brought together by Viper, a bigger villain in the Marvel Universe, and led by somebody called the Cowled Commander. Now, what made this team stand out was the twist at the end. As it turned out, the Cowled Commander wasn't some evil mastermind. He was actually a police sergeant from New York City, creating the crime wave to show that there was a need for a stronger police force to handle superhuman threats. At number 4 is the Avant Guard. The painter was this crazy, super powerful villain who could essentially bring his paintings to life, so anything he put on the canvas would just pop out and wreak havoc. First appearing as a Human Torch villain, he would later form a squad and go up against our friendly neighborhood web-slinger, roping in 2 struggling artists, Spark and Bora, and together, they amped their abilities with some ritual thing, becoming the Avant Guard. They didn't just go up against small fries though, as they took on Spider-Man and a bunch of big shot heroes from New York. The Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the New Warriors, even X-Factor jumped onto the showdown. The best part was probably how it brought Spider-Man, Iceman, and Firestar together. It was just a crossover for the ages. At number 3, the Awesome Threesome. The Awesome Threesome burst onto the superhero scene in 1967's Aquaman number 36. It's essentially a trio of robots led by Torpedo Man, zipping around at super speed in torpedo form. Joining him were the Claw, a powerhouse fighter, and Magneto. No, not the Marvel one. Just another evil superhuman who wielded mastery over magnetism. Yeah, DC named their guy Magneto 4 years after Marvel's famous villain. Talk about creativity, am I right? Aquaman and their crew faced off against these mechanical misfits, only to uncover a surprising truth, that the robots were puppets controlled by an alien. See, this banished extraterrestrial hoped that his robot army would liberate him from Earth. Spoiler alert, that plan flopped. Unfortunately, despite their awesomeness, this villain team vanished after their debut. Torpedo Man scored a cameo later on, but the trio never reunited. At number 2 is Death Throes. In the world of comics, there is this epic storyline where Hawkeye, the sharpshooting hero, faced off against some seriously unique baddies. Essentially, a pair of juggling villains, Bombshell and Oddball, giving him a run for his money. Now, you might think that 2 juggling-themed villains are a bit much, but the creator, Mark Gruenwald, had a different idea. He thought, why stop at 2 when you could have more? So, in another comic called Captain America number 317, these juggling maestros were part of a bigger, crazier group known as the Death Throes. The Death Throes weren't just about juggling balls, they included ringleader, Tenpin, and Knick-Knack. Their mission was to break Crossfire out of jail, cause some chaos, and then take on Captain America and Hawkeye. Spoiler alert, they don't succeed. At number 1 is Big Bang. You could tell the writers were really struggling for new ideas with this one. So in 1967, a new set of baddies hit the comic scene in the Atom number 34. Meet the Big Bang, a crew of supervillains whose names all had big in them. First up, there's Big Head, the super brainy, and then there's Big Bertha, who's crazy strong. Next, there's Big Ben, a pro at timing robberies. There's also Big Shot with a special pew-pew, and Big Cheese, who makes deadly cheeses. Oh god. And then there's Big Deal, who's a card sharp. Their thing is that they steal big stuff, like a giant emerald, a giant coin, and a stamp in Ivy Town. Atom dealt with them without much fuss. Now, surprisingly, not surprisingly, these villains vanished after that issue, probably not cut out for the major leagues. Funny how these big bad guys came and went without making a huge impact. If there's a big bad guy that you think I've missed that other people might not have heard of, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. This has been AJ Spatola with Top 10 Nerd, and I'll catch you all in another video. Later.